around the world. Seen a lot of things as the earth has twirled. Been amazed and excited, collecting the clues when I was running, trying to fill my own shoes. And now I'm right here, and everything's good, and all the little pieces fit just like they all should. Yeah, life's been going fine, I'd even say it was good today. I wouldn't change a thing if I could. Hey, 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 I'm going up, straight up to the top, walking out, holding my head up high. Hey, 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 moving on to a brand new place, and now it's here in the blink of an eye. Hey, 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 can't stop me now, moving fast, going everywhere I wanted to be. Hey, 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 and now I'm here today, was made for me. Yeah, I was born to be free. Hey, 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 I'm moving up, straight up to the top, walking out, holding my head up high. Hey, 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 moving on to a brand new place, and now it's here in the...
While I have been traveling the world, one of my continents where nature is abundant is Africa. And I have done quite a few countries in Africa, but I was mostly impressed and overwhelmed by the huge Victoria Falls. So I have been to the Victoria Falls, which is now located in a small town called Livingstone. And it is also known as the smoke that thunders. It is positioned almost exactly halfway along what we call the Zambezi River's 2,700 kilometer journey from its source to the sea. As you can see, while I was standing right in front of this plunge, where the river actually plunges headlong into the 100-meter vertical chasm, which spans over the full 1.5 kilometer width of the river. It may not be the biggest river in the, fall in the world, but the height of the fall is more intense than any other fall that one can think of. And when it falls, you can see, it creates the biggest curtain of falling water in the world, I repeat. And also it is also one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And the power of the falls is so awesome that with the highest ever flow recorded way back in 1958, when it reached more than 7 lakh cubic meters of water in 1 minute. You can imagine the intensity and the largeness of the flow. The water in gorges rose 18 meters, 60 feet above its normal flood level. The mighty Zambezi River that I've been talking about has over the millennium cut through the rocks, and falls and fissures have been created and carved out, not one, but 8 successive precipices, and now almost the 9th has begun. When we talk of our ancestors, our early ancestors inhabited this area almost, as history goes, 1.5 million years ago. There would have been a different Victoria Falls to the one we see today. Being one of the greatest physical spectacles in the whole African continent, it stands to reason that it has attracted so much interest from us, from the human being over the time, and therefore the area is steeped in a lot of history and of course mystery. Since I have gone twice to see this mystery and admire the fall, a wee bit of what is the history. Why is this small town that harbors the Victoria Falls called Livingstone? The label of Livingstone, which this small town which harbors the famous Victoria Falls, comes from an individual, a gentleman called David Livingstone, November of 1855. He was transported in a canoe by the local Makalolo people to the very edge of these falls. This Scotsman was very sensitive and was overwhelmed by his first sight of the spectacular fall that he momentarily abandoned his scientific observations and recorded. It has never been seen before by the European eyes, but scenes so wonderful must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight. Loyally, the good missionary whose heart lies buried in Africa named this great wonder of the world after Victoria, his British Queen. We've gone into much more depth about these facts of Victoria Falls and many others. This being a short documentary, all I'm going to say is that David Livingstone lived between 1813 and 1873, and he was a pioneer medical missionary with the London Missionary Society, an explorer in Africa and one of the most popular British heroes of the late 19th century in the Victorian era. I've been lucky, of course, to take a flight in the microlight exactly over the Victoria Falls, and this gave me a total overwhelming view of the beautiful and gorgeous Victoria Falls. Now these microlights are piloted professionally with superb views of the falls, as you can see now. These people are highly qualified engineers and they carry out all aircraft servicing with many years of experience in providing the microlights with an excellent safety record. Of course, when one embarks on this trip, it seems a little scary, but looking at the professional qualified people behind the technicality, the microlights operate with two experiences. There are two types of microlights. A 15-minute flight experience which provides a gliding experience over the Victoria Falls, and a 30-minute experience which encompasses views of the Victoria Falls as well as the Mosi Otunia National Park, as you can see down nearby, with the opportunity to view wildlife from above. I may not have seen the wildlife, but there are quite a bit of them there. Incidentally, no photographic equipment is allowed to be carried on the microlight because it's a small aircraft and it cannot carry any excess weight, and you have a GoPro which records almost every event, as you can see. And of course, this microlight, I must tell you, is totally weather dependent. The number of available microflights are limited, and the booking is available based on the first come first served basis. I was lucky that I was there in the nick of time and was able to use one of these aircrafts to see this absolutely amazing scenery below. The landmark is exceptional. You can see for yourself. You can see the bridge that separates Zimbabwe to Zambia and how it flies over the flow of the Victoria Falls. So another interesting aspect of the Victoria Falls. Now this is a hike. Seeing the Victoria Falls from its base, as you can see for yourself, is a breathtaking experience. But there is a rather strenuous hike involved. I did go down with a friend of mine, who's always been very generous, but the hike was not easy. One has to walk down the Batoka Gorge, go under the Victoria Falls bridge, as you can see, and take a raft to the base of the falls. It all sounds very simple, but I must tell you, having gone through the drill, having gone through the experience, but you do have to be reasonably fit in order to complete this rather physical activity. It takes about half an hour, 30 minutes to get to the bottom of the gorge, which is almost 110 meters high, 360 feet, with steep steps, rocks, and some rafting and swimming. I did not do the swimming part of it, but it was a pleasant sight to be right there at the boiling point height. Then there's a preparation time and rafting across the other side of the gorge, which takes about 30 minutes. I was not able to do that. My fitness was a little compromised, but spending about an hour at the base of the fall, it takes roughly another hour to get back out of the gorge. It is an experience of a lifetime, though it is very enjoyable and worth the time and the effort. Now, the boiling point where I'm standing you have to go into a seasonal activity. It is available at the same time with low water rafting, which is offered during the months of August to December. You can see when I went down, the Zambezi River was flowing at a great height. The water was gushing and it was a high water season. So outside these months, the sheer volume of water makes it very dangerous and access is almost impossible, like it was when I was there. The hike starts at about 9 o'clock and ends at about 7:30. So, having described this absolutely amazing, spectacular fall, I hope you have enjoyed listening to me and going through the drill and seeing this enormous fall and the height with which it falls. I hope you will appreciate what we have done, gone all the way to the Zambezi River in Zambia, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.